Hey, it's good to see you here. I don't know about you, but there are days when I look around my house and just think, how did it get like this again? I pick things up, wipe things down, move piles from one surface to another. And by evening, it looks like I never touched a thing. It's not just clutter. It's that quiet, exhausting feeling of always being one step behind with no real sense of control over your space, or your time, or even your own energy. I used to believe the answer was more bins, more baskets, more systems. But honestly, that just gave me prettier piles of the same mess. So today, I want to share 10 small, clear shifts that have actually helped me keep things under control without having to do a full reset every other day. These are things I've been using in my own home with 2 kids' full-time work and very little free time, and they've made such a difference in how calm my space feels. If you've been feeling like your home is running you instead of the other way around, I hope one of these will be the gentle reset you need today. Let's start with the one I wish I'd known years ago. I wasn't decluttering. I was just hiding the mess better. Let me tell you what I used to think was decluttering. I'd walk into my messy room, feel overwhelmed, grab my keys, drive to Target, and come home with a bunch of cute bins and baskets. You know the kind that makes you feel productive just by buying them? Yeah, those. Then I'd spend a whole afternoon tossing everything into the bins, skincare receipts from 2014 chargers that probably belonged to a flip phone. I'd stack them neatly in a corner and think, wow, look at me, I'm so organized. But here's the truth. I didn't actually get rid of anything. I just gave my clutter a prettier costume. Some of those bins, I didn't open them for years. Years. I literally moved them from apartment to apartment like they were part of the family. So here's the shift. No more buying storage stuff until I've cleared out at least 30% of what's already there. That means if I'm reorganizing the bathroom cabinet, I declutter first, bin later. Otherwise, I'm just giving chaos a fancy label. And honestly, since doing this, I don't even want the bins half the time. Turns out when there's less stuff, you don't need so many containers to keep it under control. Okay, ready for the next one? This one's even easier. No cleaning required, just a little bravery. Oh, and tomorrow, I'm sharing a video with some of the best decluttering tips no one ever talks about. They're the kind of things I wish someone told me years ago. So, if you need a little more help getting started, don't miss that. Number 2. Take it all out. Yes, all of it. You ever open a drawer and think, I have no idea what's even in here anymore? Yep, me too. That's why I started using what I call the dump it out method. Super fancy name, I know. Here's the deal. If you want to declutter a space like a drawer, a cabinet, even that black hole under the sink, you have to see everything in it, all at once. No peeking, no sorting while it's still in place. Just take a deep breath and dump it out on a table or the floor. Yes, it looks messier at first. Yes, you might regret everything about your life in that moment. But once it's out in the open, you'll see things so clearly. Like, why do I have 7 spatulas? Or, oh my gosh, this lotion expired during the Obama administration. I only do this with small spaces. Trust me, I'm not about to empty my entire closet on the bed. We're not making a TV show here. But one drawer, one shelf, one box from the garage. Totally doable. And honestly, kind of satisfying. It's not about being extreme. It's about being honest. When you see it all laid out, it's easier to decide what you actually want to keep and what you've just been dragging from place to place out of habit. And bonus, once you've dumped it and decided what stays, putting it back neatly takes like 10 minutes, and you won't have to touch it again for months. Next up, we're talking about something that sneaks in every holiday, birthday, and Amazon delivery, and how to keep it from piling up. Match what comes in with what goes out. You know that moment after the holidays when you look around and think, where am I supposed to put all this stuff? That was me. Every single year. One Christmas, I finally tried something different. I looked at the pile of gifts we brought home, toys, kitchen stuff, fuzzy socks from 3 different relatives, and I grabbed a laundry basket. Then I walked around the house and filled it with stuff to donate same size, same volume. 1 basket came in, 1 basket went out. It sounds simple, but it was a game changer. I didn't have to shove things into drawers that were already full. I didn't feel overwhelmed. And for once, I didn't end up with a Christmas clutter hangover. So here's the trick. For every batch of new stuff that comes into your home, try to remove the same amount of stuff. Not necessarily 1-for-1 items, but in volume. If you get a new winter coat, donate an old one. If a giant Lego set arrives, maybe it's time to part with those broken puzzle boxes you've been stepping on since April. This little habit keeps the clutter from creeping up on you and makes space for the things you actually love to use. Next, we're talking about something that sounds boring, but it's secretly the backbone of a clutter-free home. Number 4. If it doesn't have a home, it doesn't belong. Let's talk about that one item in your house that just floats. You know the one. It doesn't really live anywhere, but somehow it's always in your way. For us, it used to be the Bluetooth speaker. It showed up on the kitchen counter, then on the bathroom sink, don't ask, then on the stairs, then on the couch, like it had a little life of its own. That's when I made myself a rule. If something doesn't have a clear, consistent home, it probably doesn't belong in mine. Now, I don't mean your house has to be perfectly labeled like a Pinterest board. I just mean everything you choose to keep should have a spot to land. A drawer, a basket, a shelf, anything that gives it a place to go back to when you're done using it. And if it doesn't, it's either new and needs a spot, or it's been floating long enough to be reconsidered. Bonus tip: if your family keeps dumping the same stuff in random places, try assigning little drop zones like a tray near the door for keys and headphones or a bin by the stairs for things that need to go up. Not perfect, but it saves a lot of nagging. Next, I'll share one sneaky sign that something shouldn't stay, even if it's technically useful. Number 5. Can't find a spot for it. That's a clue. There's this weird moment that happens when you're holding something in your hand and your brain goes, "Where does this even go?" You wander the house, open a drawer, close it again, try another cabinet. Nope. Eventually, you either shove it somewhere random or it just sits there floating around like a homeless sock. I used to think this was just me being disorganized. But the truth is, if I don't know where something goes, that's probably because I don't need it. Now when I feel that little moment of, no idea where to put this, I pause, and I ask, do I actually use this? Would I miss it if it disappeared? More often than not, the answer is no. So instead of forcing it to fit somewhere, I let it go. That small shift, trusting that confusion is a sign, has saved me so much decision fatigue. I don't fight with my space as much. I don't force things to belong where they don't. And weirdly, it makes putting stuff away so much faster. Because now, everything I keep actually fits. Next up, we'll talk about what to do before you even click Add to Cart, especially if you're trying to avoid bringing clutter in to begin with. Sit on it before you buy it. Not literally. Unless it's a couch. So here's a little habit that saved me so much clutter and honestly, so much money. Anytime I get the urge to buy something, whether it's a cute kitchen gadget, a new pair of boots, or some life-changing organizer I saw on Instagram, I don't hit buy right away. I sit on it. Not the item. I wait. Usually I give it about 2 weeks. I'll keep the tab open, maybe add it to my cart like a little pretend reward. But then I leave it. And you know what happens? Most of the time I forget about it. Or I come back and go, why did I even want that? That moment of space between want and buy is where all the clarity lives. Sometimes I still want the thing, and if I do, great. At least I know it's not a passing mood. But a lot of times the thrill passes and I'm left with a little more peace. And less junk showing up at my door. So here's the rule. If you want it, wait at least a week. Let your brain catch up to your cart. And if you really want to level it up, picture where it's going to live in your home. Because if you don't know where it'll go, maybe it shouldn't come in at all. Next, I'll show you how that simple trick, picturing the item in your space, can save you from a ton of future clutter. Number 7. Can you picture it in your home? Here's a quick gut check I've started doing before I buy anything. I close my eyes and ask, okay, where exactly is this going to live? If I can't picture the spot like a real physical place in my home, where that thing will fit without me having to rearrange 5 other things, that's a red flag. There've been so many times I've wanted to buy something, a new coffee machine, a cute throw blanket, even a bread maker, because apparently I thought I was about to become that person. But the moment I tried to imagine it sitting in my actual kitchen, I couldn't. And just like that, I didn't want it as much anymore. This little trick has saved me from so many "where do I even put this" regrets. It's quick, it's simple, and it totally works. So next time you're hovering over that buy now button, pause and ask, can I see it in my space, or am I just buying the idea of it? Because let's be honest, a lot of our clutter comes from buying things we imagined using in a life we're not actually living. Coming up, I'll share a mindset shift that helps me declutter the stuff that technically works but silently weighs me down. It's still good. But will you ever use it? You know what gets in the way of decluttering more than actual mess? The phrase, but it's still good. I've said this out loud while holding a curling iron from college, a tote bag with a broken zipper, and more water bottles than there are people in this house. Technically, yes, it's still good, but also no, because I haven't touched it in 2 years and I probably never will. So here's what I started doing. If something's still good but I haven't used it in 6-12 months, I ask myself, would I actually pack this if I were moving? If the answer is no, it goes. That little question cuts through the guilt, the what-ifs, and the maybe somedays. Because here's the truth. Your house isn't a backup storage unit. It's your living space. And it should serve your life right now, not the imaginary life where you suddenly start making smoothies every day with that weird blender from 2017. So if you've got a shelf full of perfectly fine stuff you never use, it's time to be honest. Not everything that still works still deserves space in your home. Up next, the emotional landmines of decluttering gifts, souvenirs, and why letting go doesn't mean letting go of the memory. Number 9. Let the memory stay, not the object. Some of the hardest clutter to deal with. The kind that comes with feelings, the baby clothes you've kept for 10 years, grandma's dishes that don't fit in your cabinet, that random souvenir from a trip that was more about the moment than the object. It's not about the thing itself. It's about what it represents: love, history, identity, or simply, I don't want to feel like a bad person for giving this away. I used to think decluttering meant being heartless, but it doesn't. It just means being honest. Here's what I do. Now I choose 1 or 2 truly meaningful items to keep, and I let the rest go. Sometimes I take a photo first. Sometimes I hold it, say, "Thank you," in my head. Yeah, I do the Marie Kondo thing and gently move on. Because keeping everything doesn't actually help me remember more. It just buries the special things in a pile of guilt and old paper. So if something is weighing on you just because it used to matter, let the memory stay and let the object go. And if you're not ready, that's okay. Even just putting it in a box labeled "Decide Later" is a step forward. All right, last tip coming up, and it's not about stuff at all. It's about protecting one space in your home where nothing piles up, not even stress. Protect one clear space. Your sanity lives. There. Let me ask you something. Is there any spot in your home right now where nothing piles up? No keys, no mail, no snacks, no "I'll deal with this later" stuff. If the answer is no, don't feel bad. That was me too. But here's a trick I learned when I was feeling completely overrun. Pick just one small area and make it your no-clutter zone. For me, it started with the kitchen island. That place used to be a disaster: mail, backpacks, snacks, yesterday's cups, you name it. So I cleared it off, wiped it down, and told myself, nothing lands here unless it has a reason. At first it lasted 5 minutes, but I kept coming back, and little by little it stuck. Now, when life feels chaotic, I just look at that clear space and I breathe. It reminds me that clutter isn't who I am. It's just stuff, and I can choose how much space it takes up. So if you do nothing else today, try this. Pick a counter, a table, even just a corner. Clear it off, protect it, let it be your visual exhale. You don't have to clear the whole house. Just start with one spot that tells your brain, this is calm. This is mine. So those are 10 small shifts that have helped me finally feel like my home isn't working against me anymore. Not perfect, not spotless, but calmer. And honestly, that's what I needed most, not more bins or better systems. Just fewer things taking up space in my house and in my head. If you've been feeling like you're drowning in stuff and don't know where to start, try one. Just one. You don't have to do all 10. You don't even have to finish the drawer. You just have to start. And if you want help with that, I've got more videos coming, including tomorrow's, where I'll share some of the realest, most honest decluttering tips I've never heard anyone say out loud. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe, not because you have to, but because you deserve a home that feels good to walk through at the end of the day. Thanks for being here with me. I'll see you in the next one.